it's kind of hidden what the financial crisis is at Cooper, and I'd really like some more transparency and some more awareness in the class, like a way of reaching out to us, I guess.
My name is Mark Russell. I'm a fourth year in the architecture school, and I'm addressing all of the board with agreement with everyone who's come that I think last year there was a large student push and alumni push, and the community of Cooper Union, people who aren't even students or alumni, interest in more transparency and clearness, and I think we've gotten to the point where there are more emails and there are more messages about that, and I'd like to actually have more involvement as well, where the students are in these meetings or equivalent meetings and speak to you, because I do want to know about your individual involvement with the Cooper Union as a board member. That doesn't mean anything to me right now, but I want it to mean something. I want to know what that means and how you make decisions and where those decisions go and how that's enacted in the school that I participate as a student.
My name is Andrew Leader. I'm a senior in the School of Engineering, and I used to give tours for new students, and now I don't anymore. And the reason is not because I'm not proud of my school. I'm extremely proud of my school. But the reason is because I just don't know what the school is going to be like when they go through their sophomore, junior, senior year. And freshmen, too. I feel like things are hidden because people don't want to express what went down last year, the feelings that are around, that are present. And it's not that I'm not sure that the school is going to be open or if the school is going to be charging tuition. It's that I do not know what the school is going to be like. I do not know what the attitude of the administration is going to be towards the students. I do not know what the ideals are of the school. And that makes me very insecure about talking about it.
I think President Barusha approached us when we were sitting outside and spoke of sustainability in the Cooper Union being something that got us beyond our financial worries for 2018. I think the student population is worried about the sustainability of the Cooper Union in its current state of supporting the ideas of freedom and the open-minded democratic processes that are going on at Cooper that do privy us to get into meetings like this, where this would probably never happen at another institution, but Cooper Union is not another institution. It's Cooper Union.
I just wanted to speak. I understand that this, like it's already been said, doesn't normally happen at other schools, and this might seem intimidating that, and I guess in some way should feel intimidating that we are coming in here during your meeting, outnumbering you. But I think this is, and I understand that you don't feel the need to speak because the situation is unbalanced. But I invite, and I'm glad you're letting us express our opinions, but this one-way conversation is kind of what's been going on for a long time. And I think that after today, preferably if you fly back tomorrow, we could get together in a more equal setting where we're not barging into already a meeting that you guys are supposed to have to yourselves. And just have a two-way conversation where there's an actual conversation rather than speeches.
I wanted also to mention, that's along the same lines as this. I noticed nobody's taking notes. We're recording this, so just let us know and we'll give you a copy. Because these are, I think, very important things to remember. A lot of people more articulate than me are saying really important things about exactly how I think most of us feel. And so, yeah, I guess don't take it lightly.
Hey, Mark, can I respond at an emotional level what the school has done for me? You know, my dad, fought in World War II. He came back, had several kids, came here, went to the night school, spent 7 years at night. Pretty much didn't see his family, but you know, he worked full-time during the day, came at night. And you know, it's a grueling curriculum, Janet, 7 years at night. So you know, he got out, it was a free education for him. You know, me and my family were so appreciative for it. You know, there's passion out here. There's passion among the board members too. We're working pretty hard to find a solution because it's an important place for us. And I think as you heard from people, you know, most of us who are on here, most of us understand what this institution is about. And you should believe in your hearts that we're doing our best to do for you what was done for us.
I don't think anybody argues that you're definitely doing your best. It's just we don't know what that means because we don't know what you're doing.
I think I would argue that. I mean, I think there's a huge philosophical rift, as far as I've seen, between the community of students, faculty, alumni, and administration. Because, I mean, no one in the administration that I've talked to can give me a really, really passionate defense of free, merit-based, full-tuition scholarships and kind of describe what goes on here. It's all this talk of sustainability and bureaucracy.
And if you guys can't do that, then you're all a financial liability to us, because you have to ask money from the school. So if you can't have the same passion as us, you're a liability to us.
One thing I'm hearing that I'm kind of a little bit surprised about no transparency or hidden numbers. I mean, we've made an extraordinary effort to present the numbers in a number of different ways. We had a trustee who spent a lot of time with a professional, CPA, a big accounting firm guy, and he had put his staff on it, and he ran a webinar. Are you familiar with that? That was done a number of months ago. I mean, so I don't see why you keep thinking about hiding numbers. I mean, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. There's nothing in the numbers that's being hidden, because that's all the numbers of public information in an institution like this. So when I keep hearing numbers being hidden, to me, there's a disconnect.
Mr. Epstein, we all know numbers out there. They're out there for everything. They're out there for the NASDAQ. But just because their numbers are out there publicized, it doesn't mean that you know what the NASDAQ's going to do tomorrow. You don't know where the investments are going. You can kind of deduct from the news what certain things can happen. But a qualitative model is not the only thing that we need. We need to make sure that you understand where we're coming from, where we want to go. Because if you don't, and if we don't know where you want to go. We don't know if what you're making out of this school is some profit model school. If our culture is going to be gone in a year, we don't know any of that. So what I'm saying is, perhaps you're doing a poor political job in convincing us where we're going and why we're going there. Because we need to be confident in that what you're doing with the numbers, with the investments, with the money, is conducive to a school that we want to be part of. Otherwise, when we graduate and we have some means to donate back to the school, that's when we're going to decide, do I give or do I not give? Is this school something that I want to be part of still or no? Did they just kill my dream? Did they just kill something that I was part of? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If we're not confident, then we don't know how you're talking to the public. When you meet with the mayor, I don't know what you say to the mayor. I do not know what you say to the mayor. But I want to be, if you do a good job politically of speaking to us and convincing us of what you're doing, then I'll know, you know what, Mark Epstein is out there and he's representing my wishes for the school. And what I want is part of transparency is knowing your motives.
I don't think your motives and our motives are very much different. I mean, I think we all are very interested in keeping the school alive and keeping what we have as best as we possibly can, but we have to face financial reality too. I mean, so we do have to look at the numbers because there are bills to be made, and that's the reality of what a board does. But our goals are not dissimilar.
But I could respond to that. Sorry. My name is Jasmine Stein. I'm a senior in the School of Art, and to tag on to what Mauricio said, I think there's a tendency to talk about the current state as an ideal that we're trying to preserve, and that the numbers that we're getting are from some kind of ideal state. But the truth is, and unfortunately we haven't witnessed the glory days of Cooper unions at the school, has already been in decline for a long time. And when I was a freshman, the seniors told me what I had missed, and and when I was a freshman, the new building was being built. So to say that we're trying to preserve something is not even good enough.
I don't think we're looking to keep the status quo forever. Schools have to evolve, and that's what we wrestle with here every year. All the boards for the last 153 years have always dealt with the question of where should we be going, not where should we stay the same, but where should we be going, and that's what we work on.
Yeah. So I'm Lorenzo, I'm a fourth-year architecture student, but building on what he said, I think there's a general mistrust in the administration and in the board of trustees among students and among the alumni, and whether or not that mistrust is right or wrong, it's definitely not beneficial for our community, because when it's people want to donate or stuff, they want to donate to an organization that they trust, and so definitely, like, that's a big issue that the school needs to solve, and transparency will help, and we need to, as a community, come together and figure out what's the best way to restore the trust that we used to have in the administration.
Mr. Epstein, I'm Jacob Lee, fifth-year architecture student. I'd like to respond to you said financial transparency, but I forget who you were responding to, but they only said the word transparency. And I understand the majority of what the board does is the finances of the school. But from my perspective, I'll just speak as myself, within the last year, I've become very questionable of transparency, not in purely a financial way, but is deleting the school's century-year-old motto, as free as air and water, overnight without telling anyone, right before you announce a massive financial crisis, transparent? Is when you first address the community, you have it, one, in a room that doesn't fit half the people, and you don't let half the people come in. One, we have the Great Hall across the street, and two, we're reading the meeting we're about to go into on the New York Times before the meeting even happens. Is that transparent? And other views of larger directions of the school, the philosophy, the complete, I'll say, disregard for the pre-merit-based tuition scholarship. It just seems as though it's become completely disregarded, and we don't know why. We just know these things have been changed, and it just seems very disrespectful to how a lot of these things were announced to us in the last year.
Mr. Epstein and the rest of the board of trustees, I want to try to bring together a few things that we've been talking about. It started with Andrew, I think, who is an engineer at the school. I'm an architect, artist, have spoken about transparency. I think transparency has a lot to do with the fact that Andrew can't tell students coming into the school what he thinks the engineering school will be, and I can't tell students coming into the school who I help with projects what I think the architecture school is and where its intentions are to go forward. I can tell them what I think their intentions on the project are, but I can't tell whether we're going to have a graduate school of 100 people or 10 people like we do now, or whether there's going to be no free tuition. I mean, I think we all have the same intentions in trying to promote the school's merit-based tuition, tuition-free scholarship education, but I think we need to have the same understanding of where we are now and what we're actually doing with it. And that seems not just to be a monetary thing to me, but an actual sense of the community and where we're supposed to be trying to direct our educations.
So it's not, I'm sorry.
I'd like to hear a response about the transparency stuff. I mean, in terms of that's not financial transparency, but do you see that as transparency, or is that?
Well, traditionally the way boards and schools are run, the boards work, and boards don't usually have a lot of outside contact. It's usually through the administration is where most of the contact is done from the outside. So this is sort of like a new experience that we have people actually in here. And someone pointed out that the school's been going through financial difficulties for decades. And boards have been wrestling this, different board memberships through the years have been wrestling with this problem. And it's,
were those strategic moves, I guess, to deal with this in a certain way? To announce it to the media before the community, to take off any mention of the full tuition scholarship from all outgoing press, like this kind of stuff, is that it?
I don't think there wasn't a master plan of how to strategize that. When things come up, they just.
So you just do it, you don't worry about telling the community.
The New York Times.
The New York Times and the top newspapers today won't do an exclusive story unless they have what they call an embargo, which is where they will want to release the story almost immediately after the community memo. And those of you, many of you will go on into leadership positions, and you'll find that that's the case because people can put information online immediately. And so the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, any of these newspapers will give you a very narrow window.
Don't you see how that's insulting to those?
I
because you're
understand that.
responding more to the New York Times rules than.
Well, actually, I understand how you feel, but actually, you know, I and my staff communicated completely openly about the hybrid model with all of the representative groups, the student, faculty, Senate, openly with alumni. I traveled around the country. We talked about that, had discussions about it. People weighed in on it. With the ad chairs, with the ad chairs from the very, very outset. I actually, even before any decisions were made, said, "What do you think?" And in fact, the unanimous view would be, if we can keep the undergraduate program free by being able to, in some sense, create financial sustainability with other kinds of programs, that would be better than charging the.
There were specific things though that were just
Yeah.
mentioned. These things that.
Yeah.
Remember the New York Times, that is-
Yeah, but I think what we're trying to clarify is the idea of transparency is not being something, the fact that you tell something's happening. It's how you tell it, how you tell it. Let's imagine we're all investors in the Cooper Union. We're all investing some kind of money or effort or time, and I'm analyzing your ability to run the school. If you tell me there is a crisis and you use crisis rhetoric and you tell me things right before they become a problem that it's bigger than myself, then I have no way of helping my investment become a profit or become, positive for all of us. So the strategy is in question of how you're using this transparency as strategy to get me to a point where I can't do anything about it. Or if we look at it another way and we look at your ability to sustain, to fix the problem, but you tell me too late, then I'm going to have a no confidence vote on your ability to run the school because you told me too late. So you're telling me, Mark Epstein, that during the whole administration of George Campbell, you didn't know what was happening, and that now because we have a president that's able to tell us what's happening, all of a sudden, everything's fixed. Transparency has come.
One of the things to answer that question